She was so close to being crowned sole survivor on Survivor 43, and now she tried to reign victorious on the Challenge USA. So joining me now is Cassidy Clark. Cassidy, how are you feeling after watching back last night's episode?
I'm good. Thank you also for that introduction. I'm good. I think I've had a lot of time to process it, and I had, like you said in Survivor, I had a little practice with losing so close to the end, so I think that made it a little bit easier.
Sure.
It's still bittersweet, but I'm really proud of myself and the journey that I had on the challenge. I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if I was out like week 2. So I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do, and so overall, I feel good, and I'm happy with the journey that I had.
Okay, I love that. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. So, I would say that a lot of viewers would argue that you were cheated out of your win on your season of Survivor. So would you say that being on the challenge was a redemption of sorts for you? And then how would you say that compared the challenge to your time in Fiji?
Yeah, I think for me, it was in a way a redemption, but it wasn't necessarily for the viewers or for other people. I really just wanted to prove to myself that like what I did in Survivor wasn't a fluke. Me winning multiple immunities, like I wanted to explore that side of myself because I haven't been a very athletic person for most of my adult life. And so to see that kind of come out in Survivor, I really wanted to just test myself more on the challenge and prove to myself that like I'm capable of way more than I give myself credit for. And so it was really cool to be able to go and do that on the challenge. And I think it was weird. You asked me how they compare the two seasons. There was a lot of similarities, which I found really interesting. Like, for example, we start off in 3 teams, and I was on the blue team, which is exactly how it started for me in Survivor.
Yes.
And then I won 3 immunities in Survivor, and then I won 3 eliminations in the challenge. So that was cool. And there was other similarities that I can't think of right now, but it really mirrored my Survivor season in a lot of ways. I guess, yeah, like getting so close to the end and losing too is part of it. But yeah, so that was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Those are
mhm.
interesting points that you pointed out because I'm a huge Survivor super fan as well. And so I'm like, all those things are so true and so interesting. So,
Yeah.
another kind of interesting point, I think, especially from the viewers this season, is that it appeared that the Survivor girls really dominated this season, yet you
Mhm.
often found yourself at the bottom of the totem pole as far as that group of girls went. So,
Yeah.
what was it like kind of like knowing that and then like literally having to fight each week to stay in the game?
Yeah, I think the way that it just ended up playing out with our Survivor Alliance was I felt closer to Michelle and Chris and Sebastian. And I think the other 3 Survivor girls felt closer to each other. And, Michelle was kind of right in the middle of that. But I think that it just happened that way, like where our personalities just kind of created a sort of divide. And they just ended up on top and they ended up able to dominate the challenges later on. And so it kind of, it just didn't work out great for me. But I mean, I do love just as a whole how amazing Survivor has done in this season and the last season. It just kind of I think is a testament to what it takes to play Survivor and what kind of person it molds you into after Survivor. So I think that overall, even though I wasn't able to rock it all the way to the end with the Survivor girls, like I am just so proud of our group as a whole and for how well we did in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are a dominant force. There's no doubt about that. Now, you kind of teased this already, but after competing in 4 eliminations and not making the final, just being so short of making it, what's the mental wear of that when you go home? And do you replay that final elimination loss against Chanel in your head often?
I don't. I wouldn't say that I have regrets about the final elimination and that I ruminate on it too much because I really feel like there was nothing I could have done differently. It was over so fast. Like it was under like I think a minute long, that whole challenge. And I was used to in my other challenges, like my other eliminations were really physical and they lasted a long time.
Hmm.
And so this was over like before I like even lost my breath. And I felt like I was kind of in shock. I was like, wait, because I wanted to go out kicking and screaming like I had in my other eliminations. And
Yeah.
so I just don't know what I could have done
Mhm.
really differently in such a short amount of time. I just feel like that was just the way the cookie was going to crumble. It was just meant to be that way. So I try not to like have regrets about that, even though it is really tough. But there was also a part of me that was just so exhausted and just so like I definitely not defeated because I would have loved to go to the final and just give it everything I had.
Sure.
But since I did lose, there was a part of me that was also like slightly relieved
Yeah.
because I didn't have to go to the final
Yeah.
after going through all of that. obviously I would have loved to have done it, but these are just the things I tell myself to make myself feel better.
Yeah, hey, that's what it takes sometimes. As we've talked about, you did have to fight really hard this season. So if there's anyone that maybe you feel the most betrayed by on this season, who would that be and why?
It's tough. I mean, because everybody was playing their own game and we all didn't know each other that well going into the show. So I can't hold anybody against like the decisions they made to get to the end. I think at the time I felt mostly betrayed by Michelle whenever I was voted in by the whole house. But then the next week she kind of redeemed herself a little bit in my eyes by not voting for a girl. Even though I know that was also part of her strategy because she had deals with the vets and with Tori and everything. So I think at the time that was the hardest one because I felt the closest to her. I felt like we leaned on each other a lot in the house, and she gave me a lot of just good advice and support. And so I really wanted to rock it to the end with her, and we had been strategizing the whole game on how to do that. So that was probably the hardest betrayal of the house, but like I don't hold it against her at all. I love her, and I think she's an amazing player, and she does not give herself enough credit because she played such a good game.
Yeah,
like socially and everything like that, and strategically. So just kind of a little, that thing that happened at the end was just like a small fumble, but like it does not speak for her whole game. And I think she did an amazing job. So I can't hold it too hard against her.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to hear you speak highly of Michelle. So Cassidy, you obviously have proven to be a fierce competitor on this show, in this game. So can the viewers expect to see you back on our screens in the future?
I mean, if they want me back, I think I've set myself up for a bit of a redemption arc, which is a lot of pressure, to be honest. But I think it would be really cool to have another shot at it. And maybe I put a little bit of fear into people so they won't throw me in as easily, but who knows?
Yeah, different tactics next time. All right, well, Cassidy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Congrats on an incredible rookie season. Best of luck to whatever's next for you, and we'll see you next time.